HMP Studios. We are holding you solely responsible for the dreck that is Cyber. Cheesy stunts and bad dialogue, we can take. But you've insulted our intelligence, and that we can't excuse. It seems like you could do with a lesson on what hackers are capable of. And since you didn't come to us to learn, we'll come to you to teach. We are launching Operation Hack and Run. We'll show you what hackers can do. We are dead set.
Watch Dogs 2 was released worldwide November 2016 on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Watch Dogs 2 was developed and published by Ubisoft. Video game giant Ubisoft is also known for their Far Cry series and their Assassin's Creed series. Watch Dogs 2 takes place in San Francisco, California, where you play as Marcus Holloway, who's a young hacker that got fucked by the new CTOS 2.0. The new CTOS is an upgraded version of what you encountered as Aiden Pierce in the first Watch Dogs in Chicago. Whereas the OS in the first game was developed to be, just a simple super surveillance tool, in this game it's been upgraded to make it even harder for hackers to get in. Along with making it smarter, better, faster, and all that. Anyways, this new OS compiled all the data and saw Marcus as a potential criminal and got him punished for a crime he didn't actually commit. So he's pissed off and he wants to take the fight back to Bloom, the company behind CTOS. Watch Dogs 1 was my first game on the PlayStation 4 when I bought it, and despite my original feelings towards it, I recently came around to liking it more. After playing it for my review recently, I guess you could say I was hyped about the potential Watch Dogs universe, so not too soon afterwards, I went to go buy the sequel while it was on sale at a local GameStop. I didn't get this on launch in 2016. I got this around late last year, 2017, and the main reason for it was mostly because I still had that original feeling for the first game, and because I didn't like the direction they took the series, based off the trailers, that is. So basically it went from meh to anyways, playing Watch Dogs again, I liked it, and I got the sequel, but then left it there until now, February 2018. The footage you're seeing is actually my first playthrough. The score I'm giving Watch Dogs 2 is a 7 out of 10. Slow. So let's get into why I gave the game the score I gave it.
Hey kid!
What?
I'm a computer!
Grand Theft Auto is well known for its satire and its parodies of aspects that we encounter in our everyday life. Some of it is clever, some of it is just really on the nose. One thing they took really far though was the whole hipster thing in Los Santos and Grand Theft Auto 5. And I don't mean that they took it too far where it wasn't funny. I meant that when they wanted to make fun of hipsters, they really did go all out. The problem with Watch Dogs 2's characters is that it feels like they made a game out of the hipsters from Grand Theft Auto 5. It's like someone at Ubisoft, saw the hipsters in Grand Theft Auto 5, didn't get the joke, and instead went, wow, these guys are so cool, let's make them the protagonist of our next game. All of the characters have their sweet, soft spots and their nice little moments where anyone can sympathize. The problem is that the hipster part comes out and totally ruins all the work a player makes in trying to like the characters. If you're an all-out hipster, then you'll have no problem liking these people. The problem for me, though, is that I'm not a hipster, and I actually find a lot of their behavior irritating. So whenever one of the characters had a moment and I inched towards liking them, they would do something hipstery or douchey, and then it would totally demolish any inkling I had of liking that said person. I may be one of the few, but I preferred Aiden Pierce over any one of these characters. Aiden may not have been, super memorable, but the man had conviction. Someone fucked him over, and then he went on the path for revenge. He had a clear purpose through and through. In this sequel, none of these characters have that sense of purpose. They want to take down a big evil company that's spying on them, but take away the hacker bit of their characters and they basically become like you and I. minus the hipster part. Aiden also took on this cool vigilante persona that ended up being dubbed the Fox. The hackers in this game nicknamed themselves. In any case, at least Aiden makes a small cameo in this game, in a side mission, so there is that.
Hey kid,
What?
I'm a computer.
In Watch Dogs 1, they recreated Chicago pretty nicely. Watch Dogs 2 takes place in San Francisco, California, and from what I remember, when I went when I was like 7, it seems to look a lot like it. The world is a little bit bigger than Chicago, I think, and there seems to be a lot more to do, but once again, the inspiration just isn't all there. Besides doing the story missions, I didn't really feel the need nor the want to properly explore the world of Watch Dogs 2. That being said, though, exploration is rewarded by taking selfies with huge landmarks and finding loot like upgrades and money, but again, I just didn't really feel the want to really explore the world besides doing my story missions.
Hey kid,
What?
I'm a computer.
I didn't like the characters because they didn't really have a clear motivation like Aiden did. The story of Watch Dogs 2 is very much the story of this group of people, DedSec. It's a group of DedSec hackers. Which means if you don't like the characters, you probably won't like the story. I think the story just lacked focus. The plot of this game is basically this. DedSec develops an app where people can follow them. The more followers they have, the more quote-unquote computer power DedSec has. All this is being done to basically take down Bloom and their CTOS. That mission is clear from the get-go, and in the screen where you can pick and choose main missions, side missions, and online missions, that final mission is always visible. To do that final mission, though, you need a lot of followers. So most of the game is essentially just gathering followers. Social media, the game. In order to attract a following, DedSec targets essentially what are enemies of the public, and this is where the game loses focus. Each main mission is like a mini story of its own. You hack the in-game equivalent of Scientology, I think it's like New Dawn or some shit, to show the world that they are a fraud. You hack the FBI, to show that they have illegal spying methods. You hack the police to show that they have this and that. There was a main mission where someone in your group dies and Marcus goes on a revenge spree against the gang responsible for his death. I was crushed when the mission was over because that mission alone had so much potential to be basically just so much more. Once you finish that mission, everybody's like, nice! Anyways, moving on. It's almost like the game was trying to be like, let's hack people that nobody would dare to hack in real life. The FBI, the police, the Chinese. The main missions felt like a checklist for someone making a hacker movie. On top of that, it seems like at the beginning and the end of every mission, it was unnaturally explained how it was related to Bloom. You could have literally replaced any of these companies with literally anything, and it'd probably just end up the same. Oh, this Bloom is connected to this company because of this. Nice, because we hacked them, Bloom was going to do that. It's like, alright. So they weren't really all that important. They were just somehow connected to Bloom.
Hey kid,
What?
I'm a computer.
In the first game, the villains weren't memorable, but I had fun fighting them because they were just constantly around Aiden in both a helpful capacity and vice versa. You basically played your main missions along them. In this game, the main villain is a man whose name I don't remember. Even though I just beat the game before I typed up my notes for this review, I don't remember his name. But I did look it up, and his name is Dushan Nemec. He's the main bad guy of this game. The thing is that the man bun, Yoga Man, isn't interesting at all. At first, I was ready to like him because despite the hack attacks, he was like, after all the hacks, he was just really calm. And I was like, and I was thinking to myself, whoa, this guy must be some special kind of evil. Because you know how it is in movies, video games, and books. When someone stays really calm, even though something fucked up happened to them, you know that villain is going to be probably really good. Or at least really fucked up. But nothing ever happened with this guy, Dushan. Every time a company got hacked that was, remotely related to Bloom, his company, they would just call him and he would just calm them down. That's it. That's all. We got hacked. We're using your OS. What's going? Listen, man, just relax. We got a plan. Hey, we got hacked because of your OS and all that. Listen, man, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna fix this. It was just shit like that. It's like, all right, man, are you a villain or a customer support? Even in the final cutscene with him, he was just like, oh man, they got me. I kid you not. I'm not gonna play the final cutscenes, just in case some people actually want to play this game. But that's all he is. The protagonist confronts him, and then he's like, oh man, they got me. That's it. The other villain in this game is technically CTOS and the Bloom Company, which is basically like a mega surveillance system that watches us all, but having played the first game, I know the dangers already. I wish you could have shown more of this system or of its potential dangers. I think at one point, there's this chick in your group called Satara. She's a graphic designer and basically does the advertisement for DedSec. And she tells Marcus, that with this system, they can see somebody's habits, like ordering a pizza, and then they can send that information to insurance companies so they, that they get declined for health insurance. Something like that. The problem, though, is that Satara started that with, it could, catch you buying a pizza and send. There was a lot of these hypotheticals, and I wish I could have seen some actual effects of it. In the first game, someone got a hold of the entire system in Chicago, and the whole city just went into fucking mayhem. I wish I could have just seen something like that where it was definitely used in a bad way.
Hey kid,
What?
I'm a computer.
I mentioned in my first Watch Dogs review that I like the themes in the game regarding privacy and surveillance. The game didn't change that, and it's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. The message of being careful in the digital age remains unchanged. Arguments for both sides are mentioned in this game, albeit explicitly. One guy actually says something like, people can have 100% privacy and 100% feeling of safety. Whenever you hack into a major company or organization, like I said, a lot of what-ifs are mentioned between Marcus and his group of hackers that really make you consider what you do in real life, which is, pretty cool. That line about the health insurance, makes me think about my own habits and wonder if there's anything that would really hinder my ability to get health insurance, if something like this were real, or if it is real. By the way, for viewers outside the United States, universal healthcare is apparently not a human right, so we do gotta pay to play the healthcare system. Just saying that, just throwing that out there in case you're like, what the fuck is health insurance? Anyways, in this game, you gotta hack the FBI, because they have been strong-arming hackers into working for them and creating software that allows them to circumvent the law. It made me think about real life, the police using the system to their advantage. The story might be unfocused, but the companies in this game seem a little too real, and that's great. I'll take that. Anything that makes you think about, anything that makes you think after your experience with, said art is a good thing. A problem I have, though, is that I just finished watching Person of Interest before having played this game, and that show did the idea of a massive surveillance system better than this game. And so, in a way, it kind of lessened the impact this game could have had on me.
Hey kid,
What?
I'm a computer.
Something that really surprised me is that this game looks great. The facial animations and the city look beautiful. Even when you fuck up your car, it looks really detailed and really good. The loading times are a little long sometimes, especially when you start up the game, but they're nothing to complain about. I never had any problems with resolution or visual bugs, which is almost always a thing in Ubisoft games. So that was actually really surprising. I had one glitch where my RC car fell through the world, but that was it. And it happened one time, and I think it was because I was in an area I shouldn't have been. The characters look real enough too. Raymond Kenny's, I think that's his name. His dreads look so good that you can practically smell the sweat. The audio is great too. Voice acting is really coming to its own with the next generation of consoles, and this game proves it. Or at least it keeps that thing alive, most next-gen games have really good voice acting. Well, this is one of them. The game also has a nice, long list. I don't know why I said nice like that. Nice. long list of licensed music, and it really keeps you entertained on long drives, during missions, or just while you're free roaming.
Hey kid,
What?
I'm a computer.
You ever get an... Someone just yelled out there. You ever get asked a question that is so nothing? You know, you just kind of just lift your shoulders, you know, and you go, eh. That's how I felt about the controls and the gameplay in this game. The game did increase the number of things you could do, but did I really use all of those things? Not really. After earning a certain number of XP/followers, you get upgrade points, and you can use those points to upgrade combat, hacking expertise, hacking skills, all this jazz, etc., etc., etc. The thing is, it's been a long time since I've seen an upgrade tree that left me this indifferent. Usually when I see an upgrade tree, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's the skill I want. I didn't see any of that in this game. Sometimes it was just... This is totally, not talking about the upgrade tree, but sometimes it was just so much on screen while you're playing, and so many controls for things that I lost track after coming back to this game after like a day or two. The difficulty of this game is also extremely volatile. I started off this game in normal, and there were moments where some of the games were just impossible to do silently, and enemies did just a lot of damage for whatever reason, and then I had to switch it to easy. And even then, the difficulty to do the missions silently, it felt impossible. Even switching to an easier difficulty. And it would force me to commit to a shootout, you know, and other times the silent approach was incredibly easy. What I'm saying is basically, even on normal, this fucking game was, when the difficulty spiked, it fucking spiked. It was really hard. So just keep that in mind when you're playing. You might want to put it on easy. Something else that really bothered me about the stealth system was that enemies would bunch up sometimes, and there was nothing you could do. Or when you're crouched behind a box, and an enemy can still detect you, unless you're specifically taking cover. So even if you're crouching behind a box, that enemy will see you as if you're just standing right, like, hey, how's it going? You have to be specifically taking cover behind that box. That really bothered me. Because you're not, it's not like you're getting down any lower. The hacking in this game has expanded compared to its predecessor, so that was cool. You know, to be able to hack through a camera, or do it physically by hand, or use your RC card to do that. What's that thing that, you know, that R2-D2 penis thing? It's cool that your RC can do that, basically, where it just sticks something out of its body and then just sticks it into a wall. There's plenty of side missions to do along the main missions, as well as online missions. So if you ever get bored of doing main missions, you can do side missions, and side missions are pretty well crafted, considering there's a bunch of dialogue and sometimes cutscenes in between those side missions. So it's worth doing the side missions if you really like this game. I think I'm getting sick because my nose is just all stuffy. Watch Dogs 2 seems to be really well integrated with its online experience, because I would see other players pop in and out of my gameplay sessions just doing random shit. You can also customize Marcus's clothing, so you can make him look respectable or look like a dirty fucking mongrel, you know, with socks and sandals. To anyone that's watching this, or watches me, and Hyro, and wears socks and sandals, you're fucking disgusting.
Hey kid,
What?
I'm a computer.
The memes are fucking stupid. That troll picture and that Forever Alone meme, I think it made my eyes roll so hard that I think I just lost vision in one eye temporarily. Anyways, that's 8 reasons for why I gave that score the score I did. Those are the reasons why I gave it a 7 out of 10. The story is okay, and it follows Watch Dogs 1 loosely with the same companies that fucked Chicago, now fucking San Francisco and Silicon Valley. The gameplay is expanded to allow a little more versatility, but the difficulty spikes can potentially ruin that versatility. The theme of a surveillance system watching society continues here without really adding anything to the dialogue, with the exceptions of a few what-ifs. You know, it just feels like the writers are just blatantly telling me, this is what this means. I just burped right there. Oh my god, I think I am getting sick. I'm gonna die. The biggest downfall, I think, is this game's protagonists. Their intentions are good, but the characters, they're just not that great. We want to take down Bloom because they're bad. And I want to work for a paycheck. I didn't take any of them seriously nor hilarious. Would I recommend this game? Truth be told, probably not. The game ended with a cliffhanger, so I guess maybe my recommendation would probably be based on whatever the basis for the third game is. But it's a dramatically different tone from the first game, so if you played the first game, it depends on you. If you like the serious tone, it's probably a no to this game. If you wished it was a little more lighthearted, or if you wish it was just lighthearted in general, then probably yes to this game. Would I recommend it? Would I recommend it to anyone looking for just a good game to play? No, there's a lot better games than this. Anyways, one last time, from me, Watch Dogs 2 gets a 7 out of 10.
Don't go near DedSec. They're my responsibility. All you need to do is figure out an apology to my lawyers for laying your hands on me. You gonna be okay? You gonna be okay? Say yes. There you go. I'm gonna get you a glass of water.